All right, Johnny B, week 4. Waiver, wire, gems, and golden nuggets. Thanks for joining us again. Appreciate you. So, last week I didn't give you too many choices. Obviously, Tyler Boyd's of the world were the obvious, and hopefully you got him in your priority waiver wire situation. But how about that Vance McDonald, man? I think the best thing about that stiff arm last night was actually Cam Hayward's reaction. That was all time. I know Conti has been stiff-armed many a times on TV, but that might have been one of the most, authority-driven one to the ground. I thought that was pretty cool in Monday Night Football. And we did recommend Vance McDonald on the show last week. I had talked about how he's always injured and what's going on with the Steelers right now. But yeah, I mean, he's back. Jesse James, obviously. I mean, what did they have, like 2 fantasy points or something like that? So it was James and then McDonald, but you definitely want that Steelers tight end. That's where it is at fantasy football right now. Ito Smith, keep an eye on him. We recommended him. He got some yards. It just depends what's going to go on with Atlanta. They are just, throwing the ball so much. That runner, situation over there is going to be interesting. But I thought that would be somebody to target, as well as Chase Edmonds. We predicted, just like everybody else, how the youth of the Arizona Cardinals is emerging with the Christian Kirk, and how that guy went to high school with Josh Rosen, who was thrown into the Lions, by the way, the last minutes of that game, expected to go down 80 yards and create a miracle. David Johnson is still somebody I'm really, really excited for the second half of the season, but even more so right now, you're starting to see the Chase Edmonds, scenario roll out. So if you got him on your bench, that's a good one to stash. And again, I'm specifically talking about more deeper leagues here. Obviously, I don't have all the normal ads that everyone else would have on different sites, because there's just so many obvious ones out there. One thing I wanted to talk about, though, was, did you guys catch the Miami game? What happened there in this situation was safety Rashard Jones. And this is going to happen a lot in fantasy football, and my prediction is it's going to get real tricky for you guys with these questionable tags, probable tags. Is the guy hurt? Is he going to play? Is he a game-time decision? Rashad Jones, safety for Miami Dolphins, is one of the best, and I play IDP, and I really enjoy that aspect of drafting safeties and plugging them in and all this. But he was not going to play that game, and the Raiders were waiting, and John Gruden saw this, because he wasn't taking the bait that what they were trying to do is disguise him so they could sneak in another guy, right, for the Miami backfield, in the safety backfield, to cover Jordy Nelson. So you're going to be seeing a lot of these cat and mouse games going on right now with coaching staffs. So be cognizant, because Bobby McCain on that play, Jordy Nelson, he lit it up. And Gruden spotted that right away. He says, well, that's easy. Rashard Jones isn't in the game. We're going to target that kid. And so keep an eye on those situations, especially for your runners and your wide receivers, tight ends, skill positions here, because you're going to get a lot of these situations. The coaches now are just, they are taking full advantage of this cat and mouse game. And it's not new news. I'm not telling you new news. But if that happens to one of your skill guys instead of IDP, it's going to be pretty tricky. All right, who do we have? Week 4. Duke Johnson is on the rise. He is going to be all the rage. You say, well, he's not available in my league. He could be. Some of you guys out there have texted me or emailed me or whatever that you're playing in an 8-man league, 10-man league. So he could be out there, and if he is, I'm going for him now. This is the time to get him with Baker Mayfield. This is what's going to happen. I also have Ty Montgomery on here. Yes, they have 3 runners in Green Bay, but I just see a lot of PPR happening for Ty Montgomery, so I'm shoving in on a guy like that if he's available. Nyheim Hines, another guy I really like for Indy, and I hope you can go get him as well. We recommended Nyheim Hines in the preseason along with Jordan Wilkins, because while that Indy backfield is pretty muddled and it's, where's Marlon Mack and everything else, I just think you want the guy that catches the football. And a lot of the guys I target do. I'm more of a PPR type of guy. Tariq Cohen, I've been waiting for that guy to emerge with Nagy, and I think he had a pretty good game. He's on, again, that upwards hockey stick. That's what we want going to this guy. Nick Chubb, Yes, he's a rookie, but I just see right now when you have Baker Mayfield in instead of Tyrod Taylor, I think this is actually going to help Nick Chubb and hurt Carlos Hyde. So right now in Cleveland, if you're looking to score one of these backs, it's Duke Johnson right here, and then it's Chubb for the back half of the season. Wide receivers, we're talking Christian Kirk again. Youth, we're going youth right now in Arizona. Interestingly enough, they are using Ricky Jones-Seals. I mean, it's almost like he's either a decor or he's just blocking a lot because, I mean, Rosen, I thought would be the guy that's going to hit the tight end. I'm kind of switching gears here, and I think Rosen's going to hit Chase Edmonds, David Johnson, and this guy right here. So this is your last chance to get this guy if he's not already gobbled up by now. It's pretty much maybe 1 week too late, I'm telling you this. You should have already had him. Cameron Meredith, Saints. I love what Drew Brees is just doing right now. You get, Mark Ingram's coming back. It's going to create a little bit more separation for a guy like Meredith. Don't sleep on him. Paul Richardson. I thought he was a, good preseason type of grab. You just have to keep an eye on the situations in Washington. What if Jordan Reed is lost for the season? Okay. What if Crowder gets hurt? Here's a guy where you could stash on your bench right now and have a really nice wide receiver in the flex as you go to the next week or the week before when we talked about the Washington attack. Mike Williams, how about some 50-50 balls? Throw this in the air. I saw them doing that to Keenan Allen in the end zone. He tried to go up with one hand, but I just think they're going to really focus on him. And San Diego has the easiest schedule. That's the notes you need to know. Easiest in the whole NFL coming up. So, and if Keenan Allen gets hurt, this is the guy to own. So maybe you can make some moves to go get him. I think he's due for a nice second half of the season. Same with Sterling Shepard. Injuries coming to, the tight end, Evan Ingram now. And so you get Eli Manning predicting preseason that this guy would have a good year. I think he's just so steady. He might be too good for my list, only because I'm not sure in your leagues if this guy's even available. But he's on my list, and I don't have percentages for you because I think at this point with wide receivers, most of these guys are household names. But that's who I'm talking about for week 4 to try to go grab. And not all the time I recommend you to actually play these guys. It may be a stash type of situation. Maybe you have an all-star team, and most of you do. Because, again, I see your emails and questions. And the thing is if you already have an all-star, what you want to do is just, make your bench even more of an all-star. It's all about being deep here because these guys go down. Look at the Jimmy Garoppolo situation. I mean, if you're not prepared at quarterback, you're going to be hurt. So you have to make your bench strong as well, okay? So, tight end, the only guy I have right here is this Ellison kid, tight end in New York, until we know more about situation with Evan Ingram and MCL sprain. I'd be all over that one just to have a tight end in the helm in that offense. I'm not telling you to start him. I'm telling you if you are desperate and this is a deep league situation, or you want to try to be smartest guy in the room, go put him on your bench, and maybe Evan Ingram's out for longer, and you can score some cheap fantasy points in a flex situation. Other than that, I don't have much for you guys. I think we said we needed about 4 weeks of data. We're almost there. We've had 2, high scoring. I mean, the passing is back in the NFL. I don't care what you say. The top 4 runners recommended were Todd Gurley, Zeke Elliott, Le'Veon Bell, and David Johnson. And now, isn't it interesting how you look at a guy like Kamara and Gurley, right? And those really were the top 2 picks. I've even put Melvin Gordon in that conversation as a top 3. So we're starting to figure out what the preseason pundits said, what our gut said, and now we have some data to look at. And then what you're trying to do now is, hey, maybe you're 2-2, maybe you're 1-2. Golly, maybe you're 0-3. I don't know where you guys are, but you're just trying to make the playoffs, and every week counts. So you just got to try to either stash guys for later or find those sneaky guys like Vance McDonald to plug in and just, take over a position like tight end. All you need is an advantage typically at tight end, and that's how you're going to get the win, in my opinion. Tight end's a big play. If you have a stark advantage, it used to be like the Jimmy Grahams or the Gronk. I mean, you already had like a 10-point advantage before the game started, but if you can find these sneaky guys like that, man, that was some stiff arm. I got to tell you, that was pretty cool, especially Cam Hayward. If you haven't seen the video, go look at Cam Hayward after he just knocks down Conti and throws him with authority, and like, oh man, get out the way, boom, that type of thing. But anyways, Johnny B, UpsideDownDrafting.com. Thank you all for watching the show, and I appreciate you. I'll see you on the next show. Wait.